Hello, Fissionaries, and welcome back. I am Leonidas, and I have a headache. Also, this is Nuclearis. No, I don't think the two are related. I had the headache before, and what do we do when we're physically suffering? We make content videos and do lots of tests back to back for you all because, you know, we're friends, and that's what friends do. So anyway, hello, Nuclearis, patch 197, and here it is, the long-awaited, much-requested startup with chemicals video. Yep, had a headache, came home, jumped on the computer, did, I don't know how many startups, 12, 15, figured out a bug, messaged the developer. Finally, I think I have my checklist figured out, and it's messy, but I think I have a system down. There is a caveat that I'm going to talk about. Actually, I'll do that now. No, I won't. Before I get into that, for those of you who are members, you got messages from YouTube saying, oh, we've paused Leonidas's memberships. It was because of a mix-up with my ID verification. As of right now, that has been resolved, or at least unpaused, and they are re-reviewing it. So barring any other issues, that should be all resolved. So I'm excited about that because I wasn't able to give you guys the features that you had signed up for. So anyway, that's a side note. Now, the bug I found is what you're going to see is during my startup, the difference between control rods of 90 and 91. And I'm saying it now because I'm afraid I'll get too involved. It's kind of, the startup is kind of fast paced. It's a little rapid fire and I might get distracted. So I'm saying it now that when I was starting up with 91 on the control rods, the core temperature only goes up to about 250, I don't know, in the middle, 256, 257-ish, and kind of stops and starts falling. Reactivity does not go high. At 90, it goes way up to where I want it. Actually, more than I want it, over 300. And so there's not really a great in between. And that 90 to 91 seems like a big disparity, a 50-degree swing. So you're going to see me do 90. I haven't tested any decimals in between, but we're also going to have to adjust it. So keep that in mind. Also, second disclaimer, all this depends on the dosing. The big thing with chemicals, if you remember, is that the boron acts as a second set of control rods in the liquid form. They're actually more effective than the solid ones because they can cover more surface area. So around the fuel, that is. So if you go slower than I do or faster than I do, when you start pulling rods, if your dosing is different, the number you need may be different also. This is dynamic, so please don't, as I say this till I'm blue in the face. If you guys have been around for a minute, you've heard me say this ad nauseum. I teach concepts, not numbers. I'm giving you the numbers for this startup. They may be different based on your individual situation. So please keep that in mind, that if your boron dosing is higher, right, the level of current dosing is higher in your game when you pull rods, you're going to need to pull more. 90 may not be sufficient. If you're faster than I am and the dosing is lower, you may need less. So just keep that in mind. Those are the two disclaimers. Without further ado, let's get into it. Here we are. We are on normal mode because, again, easy or apprentice mode changes how all this works, especially in relation to the condenser, the vacuum system, all that. So we're doing normal mode and our friend chemical module enabled. I always leave this off because right now it's a little bit broken. It will require demand higher than what you can put out if you save the game and continue on in several game days. So here we go. Oh, we have been warned. Experienced players only. Well, I mean, I have experience, but I would not call myself an experienced, individual. I'm amateur at best. I just have a couple more days than maybe the average person. Hey, here we go. All right. Going through the checklist, link in the description. Number 1, activate all terminals. Based on the selections we made, everything's already activated except this guy right here. So we'll do that. Pressurizer thermostat on is number 2. And I may not say the numbers That's number 3, because in my checklist the numbers are all off and I'm reading off it without actually finishing publishing it. The next thing we do is we open the RCV again. This is to drain off our core because we're going to be adding liquid boron. It's saturated. It's a solution, and so when we add more water to the core, well, obviously the core is going to fill. We need to have some headroom to allow that to happen. So I'm going to let this get down to about 2380-ish. Actually, 2382. 83 is about the sweet spot to get it to stop at 2350. That's that's the goal that I aim for, is 2350. Run over here and we switch it to close. Now I like to sit here and watch it go closed. This is a solenoid and it's closing the valve right now slowly over time. And yellow means it's in motion. When it goes green, it means it's fully closed. Just as a habit, for reasons I don't want to go into now, I wait until it's closed. Whatever valve it is, I wait until it's closed, and then I switch it to off. Okay, so it's off. Let's go back and see how we did. And hey, look at that. Not bad. Okay, next item on our list. When the pressurizer water temperature gets to 200, we're going to start boron dosing. This is just a timing thing. Again, if you're... this is just to kind of help me stay on track with my boron dosing. It's just a good measurement. There's nothing special about the number 200. That's just what I found in my method that worked. So temperature was 200, we go to 50. Now I'm going to go triple speed, because the next thing I do is turn off my pressurizer. Not turn it off. I lower the intensity once it gets to 340. Again, this has to do with, if you notice, I'm gonna slow it down actually. Our pressurizer fill level is not at 60, right? It's not at the ideal sweet spot that we want. There's steam in it right now. It has to do with the new calculations and things, and I don't like that. I know some of the other community helpers will say, nah, it's fine. You can run it, let it go to 0, and it'll work fine. And that is true. It absolutely will. Except that if the developer fixes that later, because I think it's a bug, and I'm just used to never messing with it and always running it low, and all of a sudden that doesn't work, well, now I've just thrown off my game entirely. So I like to do it how it's supposed to be, and for whatever reason, as soon as you switch that off high, it snaps back to 60 right where we want it, which is the sweet spot. So now we go, external power should already be on. Generator is already on manual and off, right? We know it's not running. Run over to bypass. And we go to 100. Now I'm not gonna stop and talk very much here because my boron is dosing in the back. So we just make our way around the room. Resistor bank on. Next, MSCV 26. This has to do with refilling the retention tank, which is why we don't go to 0 anymore. This we set to 100. This we also set to 100. More on that in my vacuum videos if you want to know about that. This goes to medium. Why do I skip this one and come back? I don't know. I don't have a good reason. It was just out of order, and that's what I've gotten used to. Now we run over and we go operating mode nominal.
New operating mode established.
Load our fuel. Mode. And now we go primary pump on and set to 15. If you need an explanation of what these steps are and why we're doing them, I have a more detailed startup video. This is just showing you how to get it done with chemicals. Okay, it's circulating, so now I'm going straight to 90. That's not 90. That's 90. Okay, so it's going to start doing its thing. If you run over here and look, our dosing right now, is actually a little higher than I expected. It should be between 600 and 700. So 90, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Go on triple speed. The next thing that we're waiting for is for our steam generator level to get to 25,000.
The reactor has reached critical mass, and its status has changed to reactive.
Awesome. Down to 25,000. And at that point, I will kick on the secondary pump. However, I'm watching my temperature here. As you notice, it is racing up there. It's already starting to fall because of the boron that's dosing in the back. And yeah, 90 might not be enough actually, because I was a little late on my boron dosing, but we're gonna let it go. We're gonna see where it ends up. And I'm waiting for this to 25. Yeah, I don't think 90 is gonna be enough actually. because I was yakking. Normally, I start at between 6 and 700 for 90, which is what I have on my startup list. So if you are above, yep, I'm going to pull it out to 89. If you have your dosing is higher, like mine, you may need more rods pulled out. If it's lower, you haven't reached the 600 or 700 level because you're higher, you may need less rods. So again, use that conceptually to figure out what you need. So I'm looking at the reactivity level to see where my temperature kind of is headed. So now it's coming back down, so the boron is dosing is kicking back in. This should get us pretty close. It's actually probably going to go over with how slow that's going down, which is fine. Run back over here. Okay, so we're almost at that 25. And right about good enough. We'll go on. We'll go slow. Okay, so now we're the steam is still being built up and sent down the pipes toward, well, we'll make it to the turbine through the bypass, which we're anticipating. It hasn't reached the retention tank yet, but we've been losing our condenser level, and actually mine is really high. Interesting. Okay, so we're a little higher than I want to be, so I'm actually going to come back maybe a few notches just to slow that down, because I wanted to quit climbing. And yeah, this is way, oh no, I guess that's, no, okay, that's, now it's looking a little more normal. Notice that it's still 0 on our return flow, because it takes time once you kick that pump on for the water to actually make it from the condenser to the steam generator. But we need to start replenishing at some point. 25,000 just works for me, although because my core temperature kind of slowed down in the climb, it will take a little bit longer. Okay, so I like to shut it off at 2800. You pick your number. 2800 is what I like, so that's what I'm going for. I recommend against the whole, there we go, it's already filling. Triple speed right now just because of the dosing pump. If you dose it too high, then it'll cause issues. It'll be a little cool. So this kind of, it goes up, it comes down, it climbs a little bit, and then it's going to start just falling off like it is now. So this is when I go down to about 88. Okay, try and catch it on the way down. Bring it back. Nope, was that enough? Nope, sure wasn't. Okay, let's go 87 then. It'll kind of hit this like precipice and just falls off the cliffs. Okay, so if we look, okay, so it's holding about steady. That's great. And so what we're waiting for now on the checklist is for our retention tank to get to 50. We have a little while, but what would be awesome is if I can quit dosing and get this kind of off my plate. So I'm gonna let that keep going. We're still at 300. Fantastic. It'll still do the same thing where it'll sit here for a little while and then it'll just fall off again, go 494, 489, 480, it'll just fall very rapidly. It hits kind of sits there and then just plummets. This is definitely higher than I would expect. It is coming, oh, it's actually going up. That's interesting. Okay. Not as expected, but that's all right. Okay, so this is still coming up. Let's run back and see if we, yes, see, we missed the precipice where it fell off, so we're actually going to go 84 and see if we can't rebound that up rapidly. I'd like to get it back to 300. I don't think that was enough to make it happen. Oh, let's check our dosing. We need to be slowing it down. Do we do? So we're going to let it hit one more, and then we're going to shut it off. Boom, there it is. Okay, so it goes 0. We caught it just in time. And now I can kind of ignore it, except I need to get this back up. So let's go 82 to really get that temperature back up where I want it. I want this over 5, because remember, this is not a real reactivity gauge as it pertains to critical, subcritical, and supercritical. It's a fancy temperature gauge. So that's not even enough. Let's go 81. That should be enough. And we run back over. We're still waiting on this. Now, when I look at my concentration, you're going to see it's still falling. Okay, the reason why it's falling, it actually falls the entire time if you stand here and stare at it. The reason is because as this pump is running it's still permeating that. Okay, now we're going up. So when that gets to 300, I'll probably come back to 82. It's still permeating throughout all the pipes, through the rest of the core, and as it does that, it dilutes itself a little bit. So that's what's happening there. I don't think we're close to 50, but we'll double check. Okay, we are not. So we hit 300, maybe let it, yeah, okay, so that's good. Let's go 82 then. Okay, and now I can kind of coast. I don't have a lot to do because I've already stopped dosing. Yes, it'll keep coming down, which is why I like to go a little bit over. I may actually need to go, yeah, based on this, I'm going to give it maybe a 2. Every minute, your boron concentration will go up by whatever the dosing pump is set to, except for the fact that it has to kind of spin up to speed. No, I wanted it 0. 0. So if you set it to 50, it's not going to jump to 50 instantly, just like these pumps need time to spin up. So, okay, so we're looking good there, right at 300 where we want it. Come back, this guy's getting close. Looking at this guy, because he keeps coming down to 2 or 2800. Yeah, I'm going to need a little bit more. So let's actually go another 2. And then we'll wait for the next minute to turn over. I'm staring at the number, but if you correlate the number, the concentration with the game time, you're going to see that on the next minute, it went up. I wasn't watching because I was waiting for it to happen, but I'll take your word for it. You guys who were watching. Still 300, great. Yep, sitting there. It was at 3. Okay, so this is coming down a little bit, but it should be holding fairly steady. I may have to pull maybe a teeny bit just to compensate. And okay, so we're almost at 50. Now, when this gets to 50, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to kick on our vacuum pump, make sure it's on startup mode, and then we don't want to drop our bypass immediately. The reason for that is because if we drop as soon as we drop our bypass to 0, it's going to start sending more and more steam, a higher percentage of steam, to our turbine. Well, if our turbine gets enough steam in it or any steam at all, but definitely enough to start up before we have a complete vacuum in here, then it'll cause damage. So what we do is I wait till it's at 30 and then I lower it. I think the magic number is around 66, 67 is kind of the magic number where right now it's open to where not any steam is going to it, and you don't really have a way to tell other than through these gauges. But again, it is passing through the pipes right now, so it's not a magic number. As soon as this hits 67 or 66 or 60, whatever it was, going off of memory here, that these numbers will start spiking. But so just keep that in mind. This is still looking good. Yep, we're still doing well. No steam has reached it yet, which is what we want. So now that this is at 0.1, I kind of was not paying attention, we go operational mode. And the reason we do that is because we no longer, we want it to hurry up and get to 0.1. Now that it's there, it will kind of slow itself down, and this also causes the retention tank to start filling again. Oh, well, in a minute it will, once the steam actually reaches the turbine, if it ever does. I'm just kidding, it will. Okay, still looking good there, still looking good there. That's going up slightly because this is probably still coming down. Yeah, very slightly. So we're right at that 2800 mark. I'm not worried about it. It's going down so little at this point that we're where we need to be. So there we go. Our numbers have popped up. Okay, we now have enough torque. That 2.0 is where we overcome the mechanical resistance. We're able to start turning the blades, and it starts kicking on. And again, that's where we want to make sure we're at the 0.1. Could you turn it? Could you drop it earlier? Sure. As soon as you flip it on, in theory, you could run over and you could run over and switch it to bypass 0 at the moment that you flip the vacuum pump on. I just don't, because I don't know. I don't know. Paranoid. Don't want the damage. I'll take the extra few seconds it takes to start up the turbine on top of that. Just monitoring our temperature here, so it's coming down, which we expect. The gauge that I watch now is my iodine reactivity, and I like to keep that in check. So I'll raise this up quite a bit. I like to have this between 2.5 and 2.8. 2.7 is kind of my sweet spot. So if it's below that, this is probably falling. And then we're just gonna have to keep pulling rods little by little for the first, I don't know, day, 17 hours, maybe 2 days, I forget what it is, until this all kind of evens itself out. We are going to be getting a xenon spike later, but that's okay. So the next thing that we have on our checklist now is well, I didn't turn, you can turn your SMSI to 0 once your bypass is closed. The reason for that is because the SMSI entirely depends on your bypass being open. If your bypass is 0, doesn't matter what this is, no steam's going to come through it. If I ever open up bypass, I'm going to need steam coming through. So I actually personally in my game, I set this at about 90. Just because when I come out of startup and I connect to the grid and I'm using bypass because I'm going to be overproducing on this first day, I like to already have this open so I don't have to run it up from 0. That's just a personal, because I know I'm going to be using bypass, so that's just a personal technique. Do what you feel. Anyway, so what we're waiting for now is this to get back to 50, and as soon as it does that, we're going to drop the OMSI. The whole reason this is at 6 instead of 5, and the whole reason this is above 30 is to refill our retention tank to get it back to 50. I can leave this at 5, which would kind of match with how much of our coolant is returning to our steam generator. It just won't fill as fast. And the farther this is from 30, or the higher above 30 this is, the faster it'll fill. Again, these numbers, I should have given this disclaimer in the beginning too. All the numbers in this whole process is based on a ready to start, first time, single loop, starting equipment, one fuel cell plant. Vanilla. I guess that's the word I'm going to start using. The vanilla plant. Where you saw where I just go click new, start, and it's all just ready. And why are you blinking yellow? Have I ever seen you blink yellow before? Stable RPM. You're not open. You're not closed, are you? I don't know. Maybe I have seen that, and I don't know. It's just catching my attention for some reason now. For no good reason other than squirrel. Yeah, still looking good over here. Right, let's see. Let's check our... Okay, a little low, so we might pull it out. I don't know. Let's do an even 81. See where that gets us. And we should have stopped diluting here. Yep, looks pretty frozen to me. And even though we pull all those out, notice how it doesn't start shooting up. The nice thing about xenon, or using chemicals with xenon and boron and all that, when you have it in balance, it's smooth like butter. You don't have to adjust it much. The temperature likes to just sit where it is. 300 is a temperature that I like. 330 might actually be a little bit better when it comes to avoiding the xenon pit. But that was prior to all the changes, prior to the update on the reactor calculations, prior to the changes with the condenser and all that. So I haven't actually tested it, but 330 used to be kind of the sweet spot. And I only played that for a short time. You can go back and look up some of my live streams, some of my videos where I did 300 forever, and discovered through someone helping test for me that said, 330 really seems to be where we want to be to avoid the xenon, the eventual death by xenon. And so it was very helpful. So this is kind of falling a little bit more than I would have thought, but nope, it's stabilized. It'll jump. But anyway, so we've basically started up. That's it. Welcome to chemical startup. Once you can shut off your dosing pump, you watch this a little bit, but then mostly you're just back to the original method of when starting up, not using chemicals. I will finish this through. I'm gonna go triple speed though, to kind of hurry this along this way. I'm in the 11th hour now, so now I'm gonna request startup operations. And we're just monitoring this. See how it's going to jump up and down? That's very, very, very normal. Very normal. That's why I like to use this number. So this is really what I use. If this goes down, I know that the average of the overall temperature is going down a little bit. Again, it's more accurate than this. When you start adding more than one fuel cell, all of that changes again. Everything in this video I'm talking about is for the vanilla plant. We're about halfway where we need to be there. They should have given us 1 o'clock. Or, sorry, 12 o'clock. 1 o'clock is what we have to be connected by 1 o'clock, because that's when they actually start wanting the real electricity. If you were to connect before 12, you gain nothing. You don't get any extra bonus points for connecting early. You don't even get paid out, period. Okay, so this is actually a little lower. Yeah, 52 as expected. And now we're just kind of, oh, did we miss it here? Nope, not yet. We're almost at 50. And when this hits 50, we're going to drop that to 30, which is the magical number to freeze our current retention field tank level. Why? I don't know. There's no real rhyme or reason to the 30, other than I don't know if the developer said it that way or if it ended up that way based on the calculations. Let's go another 4. It will feel like you are pulling more rods frequently. That's to be expected. Don't sweat it. It'll be okay. That's it's until that gamma and that, that iodine and the xenon kind of level out and come to an equilibrium of balance with each other, that we're gonna have to keep doing that. So I'm waiting for 2975 is what it used to be to get it to stop right at 50. We'll see how close I can get. Good enough for government work. Let's drop this down to 30. In the time that it takes this to close, this is going to keep going up. And if I have timed it right, when this gets to 30, nope, I'm going to be under. Bummer. Alright, well, that's pretty close to 50. But anyway, so again, now we're just waiting on that. This is still sitting about right where we had it. Yeah. Now comes the boring part. But like I said, I will continue on and connect to the grid and finish this thing out. Oh, yes. We love the turbo warp Synchroscope. Nobody knows why it happens. I can't figure it out. I don't have an answer, so don't ask me. As far as I know, the developer doesn't even know, or at least he hasn't given me an answer why he thinks it's happening. But let's do a few of those. Keep that up. Closer to 2.6, 2.5. And okay, now it slows down. Triple speed again. I'll let you guys listen to that awesome sound. And we're getting close. On a single speed, Alt and Shift. Wait for it to get 3052. It does it every time. And now we mash it. Oh, one too many. And now, wait for the green sync. Close. Ta-da! There we go. We're done. Congratulations. We have connected to the city. The reason I didn't request it during the 10 o'clock hour is now we would be needing to produce, and we wouldn't meet our, what do you call it, demand for this hour anyway, most likely. So at least this way I'm not being penalized toward that 81% objective that it gives me for the day, which is not actually here. Huh. Or maybe it's just missing because there's too many listed here. I don't know. Anyway, so there you go. There's our startup. When we come out, we're at 30, or excuse me, 300 degrees, not 30 degrees, 300 degrees. We're producing around 20 megawatts. Sometimes it's a little higher, 21, 19, 22, just kind of depends on how things have run. It's really dependent on the core level, right? 15,000 is where I like to operate. This should be, yep, 38 bar on the pressure, around 250 on the temperature. And now that we are, now that we're connected, we go 5 there, and following with my checklist, sorry, this is what I should have done first. That goes there. This goes to automatic in case we get a power loss, and then I would be done. So now this will balance. Notice that they're all coming to 50. So this fill level, that's the word I'm looking for, this fill level will basically remain the same. So notice that out of 15,000 liters, we're kind of plus or minus. It'll be about 10, maybe 20. The reason for that is this middle number jumps up and down. Just because of the calculations, how they are, it just jumps up and down. This little guy, don't worry about this little guy. The CFR will climb toward the EFR on the number on the right will climb toward the number on the left over time. There are ways to manipulate that. Go see my other videos or live streams for that explanation. And hopefully in the next update, all of my complaining and explaining to the developer will help that change sooner rather than later. So here we are. Yeah, chemical startup patch 197. What was that sound? Did you guys hear that? It sounded like something fell. It actually sounded like a door closed, but I haven't turned on AO. So I don't know what else. Hey, you can see through the water better now. It's kind of fun. All right, anyway, I'm done rambling. Okay, that was my summary. So now the outro. Thank you everybody for stopping by. Join my Discord. One-on-one help, notifications on live streams and videos as they're released. Other games. We can talk about fun stuff. Links in the description. But either way, I am Leonidas. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you again soon.